Just what did it mean just to be Big Ten Player of the Week for you?
Me?
Yeah.
To be honest, not a lot. I mean, I'm appreciative that people are recognizing my hard work. I do appreciate that. I understand that. But, I care about the games we win. I care about how I feel about my performances that I've had, taking advantage of the opportunities that I get. So I always grade my own performance. I don't go and look at how other people grade my performance, if that makes sense.
Right.
So,
How would you grade your performance up to now?
I thought I've done a decent job. There's some things I need to work on. We've talked about, Coach and I, when we're running the small ball lineup, I have to be able to rebound. So I was proud of the Ole Miss game that I got more rebounds than I normally do. So I tried to emphasize that in practice. So I'm glad that's showing up.
I think for a lot of people, for us, for people who pay attention to the conference, you getting that award maybe is kind of a sign of progress, outwardly. What does that show you that now you're kind of becoming the playmaker of this offense in a lot of ways?
Again, it's difficult because, last year when we went overseas, I felt like it was kind of the same way as far as, like, I knew this was how the offense was going to run. I knew I was going to get a lot more opportunities, and the offense was going to, go through me and Braden. I knew that was coming. So my whole thing was trying to make sure I'm as efficient as possible with, those opportunities I'm going to get. Making sure I don't turn the ball over, making the right reads. So that's what I've, put all of my focus into. I'm glad that and say that, I have been pretty efficient, with shooting, with not turning the ball over. So I'm just glad things are working out in that area.
What's the adjustment been like to do the stuff that Zach was doing last year where you're constantly fighting for position, you're going to get the ball, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's so much different. People are going to, I'm excited to go in the Big Ten season where people scout more and see different schemes and see what other teams are going to try to do versus our offense in general, and see how I can try to beat those coverages.
How much has it benefited you and this team with what Caleb can do from a flexibility standpoint as a 4, as a 5, kind of what you were last year in some ways?
Yeah, I think it's big time. I think he's done a terrific job whenever he's, been in the game. Defensively, he might be our best red guy as far as defensively coverage hedging. So there's just, like you said, defensive and offensive flexibility. Just having somebody out there who can, do those things really gives us a different look. And so the minutes he's played have been big time.
Small sample size, but just the new lineup, what have you liked about it? And some more progress probably needs to be made in some areas.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm excited. I think Miles and Cam have done a terrific job. In their few games that they have, starting and playing more significant minutes. But it's all things that I knew, they were capable of. Obviously, defensively, they've been really good, especially rebounding the ball. I thought that, we wouldn't lose that much of a advantage rebounding. Now, we still have work to do, but I just think that, you've seen Miles' rebounding numbers. I think Cam he's boxing out somebody who's more maybe a traditional 4, but he's still been able to hold his own there. And that's not even counting the offensive end where you've seen, their shooting ability kind of flourish. So it's been great. For me, it gives me a lot more space, but I think for Braden and I, when we're doing pick and rolls, it gives him more options, so he can see if they're going to, bump the roller, then we're just going to shoot open threes or not. If not, they're going to double, then they're going to pass to me, and I'm going to make a read. So I think we have just so many options. Everybody on the floor is threat.
Just these early Big Ten games, what have you learned about playing in these games? How different are they than what you experienced last week? And just what kind of, maybe the intensity level you have to bring to this out of the gate?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just attention to detail. Even as the season progresses, it's going to be even more and more. Players start, filling out their roles and exactly what they're going to do. But it's just, you're going to see different specific coverages for your team because the scouting is just so, we have so many good coaches and good staffs in the Big Ten that the scouting is going to be perfect. And so it's more of a a scheme game than running up and down. And obviously we're playing Penn State, which presses and tries to make it that type of game. But for the most part, when you're looking at Big Ten play, it's more schematic and detail oriented.
What's it like to see Caleb in those videos, just knowing him as well as you do as a teammate, to see him, I guess, maybe take that personality to a wider audience?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing for me is the only thing different is he's wearing the elf costume. The personality is pretty much the same. So it's Caleb. We all love him on the team. So I'm glad the outside world kind of gets a taste of what we deal with on a regular basis.
How important is that for last year, maybe, where you had a guy that had started in the past and is not playing for several games in a row at times, and just kind of accepting a role for the betterment of the team, and kind of clearly a personality that everybody on this team has?
Yeah, well, I mean, his attitude when it comes to basketball, I think, is one of the best that I've been around. He just understands, and for me, being religious myself, being a Christian myself, I can understand where he gets his values, and so it's easy for me to say, he has a great mindset and great value system, but I think that's where it comes from. He just, he treats people with kindness. And when it comes to the basketball floor, he understands his role every day. He shows up and works hard every day, and he does it because it's something that he values and knows it's the right thing to do. So when you have somebody like that, he's very reliable.
How much did you know each other in high school? Clearly being in the same class and knowing of each other, at least, if nothing else. So
Yeah, I didn't know him at all in high school. We played him twice. One of the times I got to play, I forget, it was maybe at Newcastle we played some tournament or something.
Hall of
but
Fame-
only the two
Hall of
games.
Fame
Maybe
tournament?
the Hall of Fame tournament classic or whatever that was.
Yeah.
So we played him twice, and it was only in the handshake lines that I said something to him. And then we kind of met a little bit more over the Indiana All-Star break. But yeah, it's been cool getting to know him. Besides just being a basketball player.